Here are some excerpts from askchauntel Radio today. I look forward to speaking with you all next Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You have to call in. I'm so excited to answer your questions live. The information is in the description box below. You are listening to askchauntel Radio, where you learn to love yourself and become the best you, personally, romantically, and professionally. Listener discretion is advised. I am your host, Chauntel, and I'm excited to get on the phone lines with you. If you live in the U.S., call us at 646-929-1389, or you can log on to askchauntel.com and click Contact. But remember to keep your emails brief and to the point, and we will do our best to answer them as part of the show today. Again, the number is 646-929-1389. I'm so excited for today's show. Just want to give you a little bit of introduction as to what we're going to be doing with this radio show. Although askchauntel's YouTube channel has a very strong male presence of about 45%, the female viewers make up a bit of a larger crowd of about 55%. So I chose to do the first askchauntel Radio show to help these sisters out. And since they make up a majority of the population, I thought, why not do a show on what attracts a guy to a girl? So every week, expect a new topic, and I will announce next week's topic at the end of this show, and we will have a poll every week in relation to the topic, which you can vote on at askchauntel.com. You absolutely have to get our free newsletter. It comes out every Friday, and it will introduce the new topic for next week as well as give you the poll link so you can vote on it. And you'll also get free videos and all kinds of free advice that is on askchauntel.com, as well as coaching coupons right to your inbox. And so you want to do that today if you're not already on the list because it comes out every Friday, and it's going to be coming out tomorrow. So I produced a video this week on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/askchauntel, entitled The Chase, How to Keep a Guy Dating Advice. And so you can log on to askchauntel.com and check that out if you haven't seen it. But in the gist of it is I gave a formula for what girls should do to keep guys interested, which includes be interesting, be challenging, and be valuable to him. And if you do those things, so if you add interesting to challenging to valuable, you get to keep him. And being interesting is what makes you unique, what makes you different. What is it that he's going to be looking into getting to know who you are? So that's really what it's about, is finding out what's unique about you. Be challenging. You have other things going on in your life, not just him. Otherwise, you're just boring. So you need to have a passion for things that are going to fulfill you personally that will attract him, and you have to be valuable. You don't just need to be interesting, but you need to be his total package. You need to build your stuff up in every area of you, personally, romantically, and professionally, and you have to add value to his life, and that's what's going to really make the difference here. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, but really this show is for me to talk to you directly. So if you guys have questions and you like to call in and ask them, please do so. I would love to hear from you. The phone number that you can call in on is 646-929-1389. And you can call in and you can ask your questions here live. Later on, I'm going to be having a friend of mine who's going to call in, and he's going to be talking to us about our topic today. And we actually have a caller we're going to put live now. Here we go. Hello, Anna.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me on. Best way to get anybody's attention is just to be yourself and to be modest and just be who you are. Because if a guy likes you for who you are, I think they're just gonna like you no matter what, not do somebody else.
I agree 100%. You shouldn't try to pretend to be something that you're not. You should totally be yourself, because if you aren't, then when you get into the relationship, it's not going to work out anyway, because the person that they thought that they were with is not the actual person that they are with, and it's just going to lead to more heartache. And we spend so much time trying to put on this front in dating instead of just being ourselves that we waste a lot of time and we go through a lot of heartache. And so I totally agree with you, and I think that that's great. It sounds like you are a great friend to her. So.
Yes, and I also say to myself, being single, I think, is not a bad thing. It shows more of independency, that a woman is strong and she can pay her own rent. And like, why not be single? Have fun. You're young. And also, I think like when you're single and eventually a guy will come up to you and be like, hopefully you'll find someone, but concentrating on something that you like to do, like your career, like you maybe start a business or a hobby, something like that. That's what I try to tell her. Going after a gay guy or a bisexual guy, matter of fact, is just something that doesn't flow her boat. But oh well, I'm just being her friend and trying to stay by her side, and that's all I guess we can do in this situation.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if she's just trying to get into a relationship for the sake of being in a relationship, that's just not really a good idea. And some people are afraid to be single, but sometimes it's better to be single and figure out who you are until you're actually ready to be in a relationship. And just being in a relationship is easy, like just being like, oh, I want a boyfriend, so I'm going to get a boyfriend. It really takes a strong woman to say, no, I don't have to have a relationship to be okay. I don't have to have a relationship to be happy. And I don't think that you can have a healthy relationship until you are able to say that you can be independent. And a man should just add to your life. It shouldn't replace the love that you should have for yourself. So that's a very wise review.
I completely agree. Like, I told her that I'm single and I'm so happy to move out of my parents' house. I pay my own rent. I pay my own bills. I go to school and I live by myself. I once in a while go and hang out with my friends and so on, have some fun, But independence, it shows in a woman. Like, if you're independent, you pay your own bills and everything that you own is yours, I am happy. Like, I don't need a man to make me happy. It would be nice to have a boyfriend eventually when they come up to you and they like you and so on. But to have a man because of another woman has a man, it's just ridiculous. I'm just happy who I am, and she needs to know that. And I think, like, just be yourself in any situation, and it just usually helps in anything.
I totally agree. Thank you so much for calling, Anna. It was nice to finally talk to you. I know we chatted on Facebook. But
you too. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is Connie. Talk to you too. Bye-bye.
So what she said was just so true. I mean, it's no good to call in and complain about, being single, and that alone is not enough for you to force yourself into a relationship. You have to first be able to stand on your own 2 feet so that you can walk into a relationship being strong and powerful and a whole person, and that way the relationship really has somewhere to grow and has something to go from. And so I think that's so important. So we have my best friend Mark, who's going to be joining us now to talk a little bit more about the topic for today's show, which is what should girls do to attract guys. So hi Mark, you're on live.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome. I'm good. How about you?
Yes. Say that again?
I said I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good now that everything is working. At first, when I first came on, it was kind of hard to hear. We're having some audio problems, so I'm excited that everything is going well now. So.
Okay. I see how technology is trying to do us today.
Technology is just, it's always unpredictable. You never know what you're going to get, so.
Right.
Okay, so our topic today is what should girls do to attract guys, right?
Right. Right.
So I have some questions for you that I'm going to ask you. But before I start asking you questions, you can tell us as a guy, from a guy's perspective, because that's what you're sitting here for. And I know you can only really speak from your own perspective, but from a male perspective, what is it that girls, should do to attract guys?
Okay. Let me, because I know I don't have a lot of time, because that's kind of a deep subject. But
it is. And you don't.
So, on the surface note, realistically, make a guy work. Because the more challenging it is to get with a woman, the more the guy really wants to, okay, let me see. Now, see, and that's another thing. That's how you get to see whether a guy really wants you or not, is making him work.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not really so much about the physical beauty. It's not so much about even necessarily what's on you on the what's on the inside of you. It's just more so about, okay, can I get it now? Can I get it later? Or I mean, it depends on the guy's motives. But I mean, at the end of the day, it just really depends on the woman and how much you make that man work.
How much she makes him work?
Yes.
Okay. So you're saying it shouldn't be easy. So you're going with kind of what I said in my video this week, The Chase, that you should be a challenge to the guy. You don't want to just... What do you think about girls that play hard to get? How does that work? Is that effective?
I believe so, only because that's part of making the man work.
Right.
Simple as that.
Okay. Work. He who does not work does not eat. So.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And I had to learn that. I learned that the hard way, but
Okay, well, let me ask you this question. Do guys like girls who wear a lot of makeup?
That's kind of up for debate, only because me personally, I'm one of those guys that really don't care for makeup too much. I'm a natural guy. But you got other guys that they like the whole makeup thing. So it really depends on the guy. You have to get to know the guy to know the answer.
It really depends on the guy. I think that's true. I mean, different guys have different opinions. I don't think guys really pay that much attention to, like, the little things like, oh, is she wearing a lot of foundation or eyeshadow or concealer? Because, I mean, you guys are not familiar with all these terms. Are you? I hope not, if you're a straight guy.
Yes, and please, women, please, do not expect a man 9 times out of 10 to necessarily even want to try to get to know that stuff. Because 9 times out of 10, a man is just like, babe, you just look good.
Right, I mean, exactly. They just want you to look good.
Exactly.
I think natural makeup is liked by most guys. I think some guys don't like heavy makeup as much as others. Don't really care too much either way. So I think you answered that question pretty holistically. And if there's any guys that are listening and you have like a strong opinion on do guys like girls who wear a lot of makeup or any other questions that I'm asking, feel free to call in at 646-929-1389 because we love your opinion.
Yes, please, because I am just one man.
I have another question for you about what attracts guys to girls.
Okay.
Do guys like girls in heels?
That's interesting. I think 9 times out of 10, yes. I think that's 9 times out of 10, yes. But and please, women, do not beat me up, try to find me on Facebook or anything when I say this. But some women do not belong in heels. There are some women that honestly don't belong in heels. And I'm just honestly saying that because I've seen women who walk in heels, and I'm just being honest, they don't know how to walk in them. They don't know how to wear heels. And 9 times out of 10, for some women, heels that's not for you. You got to find out what's for you and what's not for you.
Sure.
But yes, to answer the question, I think 9 times out of 10, yes.
Okay. All right. Do guys like girls who wear a lot of perfume?
Ooh. I think that's also up for debate because I think it depends on how strong initially the perfume is in the first place.
Right.
So
Right.
and then it depends on if the guy likes it. So that really
Right.
depends
Like
on.
don't wear your grandmother's perfume. Right.
Please don't. Please don't. We yeah, please don't.
So a lot of the guys that watch my show are nervous or shy to approach women, maybe because, I don't know, girls make it confusing or complicated to approach them, or they're intimidating. So what can girls do to make guys more comfortable in approaching them? Like, what do you think as a guy? What can girls do to make this more of a comfortable situation?
That is interesting because, I've been the shy guy and I'm still a shy guy. I've been the shy guy.
Right.
But let me.
So you can relate to that.
You women have to learn how to make a guy comfortable, and then you got to also understand that it's going to take time for a guy to get comfortable. You're Mark forgetting this. And then you also have to. Excuse me, I'm at school right now still, but you also have to understand that a guy is going to take time, so therefore you got to be patient with the guy. So if you can be patient and understanding with a guy, and not necessarily even try to change them. See, guys don't like, especially men, we don't like for people to try to change us. So we feel like that's being forced on us, and we don't like that. So there has to be patience and understanding. And if you can do that, I promise you, either the guy, either it's gonna work out with the guy or it's not. But it won't be because of lack of communication, and it won't be because of patience and misunderstanding.
So girls need to find ways to make guys more comfortable to approach them.
Yeah, because there are some women that just don't, they're not really approachable sometimes. And then what do girls do to make themselves seem like unapproachable? Where you're like, oh, never mind. Like maybe you were considering approaching her, but you were like, never mind, I'll pass. It could be that because a lot of times, not just men, but just since we're kind of talking about men, we tend to have preconceived notions just based off of looks, the way that you dress. So if you kind of look like you kind of high maintenance, and we're kind of like not high maintenance, we're like, it depends. See, and that I think honestly is more so about the man's confidence than anything.
Right.
I think it really starts with the man's confidence. If the man's confidence isn't really that high in himself, he's not really going to approach any woman, regardless of how comfortable she makes herself to him.
Right. That's a good point. So a lot of girls have a lot of self-esteem issues with their body, right? Mm-hmm. So do you think that it is, when a girl points these things out, that it's unattractive? Like, is a girl that you just met, not a girl that you've been in a relationship with for a long time, but when she is complaining about, oh, I don't like this about myself, or this is how I look, like she's always down on herself, is that unattractive to you as a guy?
Me personally, yes, because nobody wants to hear about how bad you look constantly. If you're going to keep complaining about something, then my thing is this: do something about it. And if you're not going to do something about it, then stop talking about it, because that means you really don't want to change, but you want to sit there and complain about it all day. That's a baby does better than that, and that's just me being real. Some people don't like that. That's well true, but that's how I am.
Right.
And yeah, but women, please don't do that, because that really, really, to a real man, a man that really wants you, not for your body, but who really just wants to get to know you and talk to you and be a friend and all of that. Those kind of guys, those kind of men, we're not the kind of guys to just like to sit there and just hear you complain and moan and groan about stuff. that's unattractive. That's one thing that I really can't stand that women do. That irks me.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And thank you for your 2 cents.
I appreciate the time. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much. And I'll be talking to you soon.
All right.
So I wanted to give you guys our quote for today, and we also have a scripture for today. The quote for today comes from Harvin McKay, and it is, "Time is free, but it is priceless. You can't own it, so you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can send it. Once you've lost it, you can never get it back." And that is so true. So that means use your time wisely. If you're a writer and you'd like to send me your quote and have it air on the show, please go ahead and tweet them to askchauntel or email them to askchauntel@gmail.com. The scripture for today is Song of Solomon's 1 and 2, as it relates somewhat to our topic. "Let him kiss me with kisses of his mouth, for your love is more delightful than wine." And I thought that was such a beautiful scripture. Please go on to askchauntel.com and join the newsletter. Call us next week with your questions. I'm so excited to hear them. And next week I'll definitely spend more time reading your questions and giving you guys answers. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys next week.
This program is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information with regard to the subject matter covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the host nor the station is responsible in giving professional advice. Since your particular situation is unique, you should additionally seek the advice and services of a competent professional.